One. Good evening, everybody. Coach Armando Torres here. Super fired up about tonight's call. Man, last week was a phenomenal event over in OKC as we met with our partners at Legalshield. There was a lot of information that was given, and more importantly, a lot of resources that we're able to pull to help each and every single one of you guys make some serious money moving forward. One of the things that we saw and we were really excited about as a leadership team that was there representing Powerhouse Financial was the fact of business solutions. And we're actually very blessed here in Orlando in Central Florida. And because I'm in Central Florida, I was able to connect early in January with a gentleman I'm going to introduce to you guys today. Colonel, United States Air Force, retired. We're super excited with him. He's been in Legalshield for a minute and a half. It's been a long time. He works in the business solutions arena, which is something that we're excited about. We've been talking about that on the life side, tax-free retirement side for a while. So this is an actual in for that product line, for that entire space, right? Just to be able to get in there, connect with business owners and provide everything that we provide at Powerhouse Financial. But this will be like a very good spearhead product to just knock on the doors, get in the doors, more importantly, build a team and get them in the door. So anyways, I'm not going to steal his thunder. The gentleman has a much more experience than I have. I'm just going to shut my big head up and introduce to you guys the Colonel out of great state of Florida, Mr. Kevin Torres. Your call, sir.
Well, thank you. And I'm just so excited to connect with all you guys coming from all over different places. And Armando, out of the, I think there's like 16 people out here. How many on here already have insurance licenses?
Pretty much everybody.
Everybody. Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Excellent. So what we're talking about is really the program that Armando was talking about is Legalshield. And just to let you guys know, my Dun & Bradstreet, I've actually been starting my 15th year with this company. But like they say, this is not my first rodeo. I spent 20 years flying for the Air Force and hey, survived 2 wars, 3,000 hours, and I'm still here. But I also literally had a career in pharmaceuticals, and ended up getting promoted. And that's how I ended up in Orlando. I was responsible for the 10 hospitals here. So that was another career. Both careers, I ended up with pensions. So it's always nice to know that was the last of the pensions, because I'm part of the baby boomers. I look younger than I look, but I'm almost 63 here, guys. So I've been around the block. But the beautiful thing is that I love what we've been doing with Legalshield, starting my 15th year. And I'm what they call a full service agent, because you guys have an amazing leader, Mr. Brian Crothers. For those of you that have interest in building teams, there's no one better. The gentleman has made over $23 million in this arena over the last 20 plus years. So he's personally mentoring Armando and his team. Where I come in is the expertise I have in the business to business arena. So what does that mean? That entails people that have connections with businesses. Who do you know that owns a business, is a business owner, a decision maker, an HR director, somebody even that owns a small business? Because the beautiful thing is we can help that small business owner with his personal business. I like to say we all have that own businesses, because I also had my own business before Legalshield, and I understood the headaches of being worried about somebody suing the business, or hey, what if we're having debt collection issues? We all know that in small business, cash is king, and we have to keep the cash flowing. So when debt collections gets in there, it's a big deal. So the fact of the matter is we have solutions for those kind of things, and that's what makes it wonderful, and that's what makes this opportunity so intriguing. Most of you, I'm not sure what your background is, if you're doing just individuals on the insurance side, if some of you are doing employee benefits, bringing those benefits into companies. Whatever, it doesn't matter what you're doing, there's a great opportunity here, because we have a program set up where you could literally just set the appointment up, and we can have another person come in there and help you to get that deal done, and you end up with 50% of the commissions. So that's a huge deal. Now, here's the other perk on top of that. Just for doing that, you actually not only get 50% of the commissions that come in for setting up that appointment, but because you're working with a national field trainer, like for example, myself here, I'm actually getting ready to fly out to Wichita, Kansas here on Sunday, because we got a big manufacturing company. I'm going to go out there and help an individual who set the deal, and we're going to be doing a 50-50 split there. And then next week, I'll be flying out to Dallas, so doing another deal out there. So it really doesn't matter. Like they say, if the deal is big enough, we can go anywhere from that standpoint. But the wonderful thing about here is that the company has laid out a great program depending on how much of it you want to do. There's a lot of insurance brokers that say, hey, man, I'll take 50% of the deal. I'll set you up on the appointment and you take the baton from there. Others want to learn how to do the process and then eventually end up doing 100% of that. So the choice is really up to you, what it is that you want to do and how you want to focus on that. For those of you that have connections with trucking companies, that's another great niche, because we have an incredible commercial drivers legal plan to protect those truck drivers, because remember, their livelihoods at stake. They 12 points on their driver's license, they can never drive a truck again in the United States. So think about that, how much stress they're under to make sure that those points don't go on the driver's license. Doesn't matter if they're on a motorcycle, on a car, or driving their rig. So it's nice to know that you have different angles here that you can actually maximize and utilize. Just to open up your first group, just to give you an example, you have a $500 bonus for just us getting that group closed, as long as we get a minimum of $150 premium collected, meaning that could easily be done with 4 employees, as little as 4 employees. Now, obviously, the bigger the organization, the better. But remember, our sweet spot is smaller companies, and I'm talking less than 50, because we can get in there, we can talk to the owner, we can talk to the decision maker, and boom, be in there next week in their staff meeting, in their safety meeting, and then make it easier to flow. And I can tell you, I've done bigger companies. I'm actually, many of you, you might, if you're from PR, from Puerto Rico, you might recognize Ana Mendez University, and it's a growing university. They now expanded in the United States. They have a campus in Dallas. They have a campus in Tampa, Orlando, Miami, and they're growing. Well, I ended up getting that account, and now we're expanding with them. And maybe someday, you never know, we might expand into Puerto Rico. But for now, we have so much opportunity here. Now, here's the beautiful thing. The company has evolved tremendously. When I started in 2008, the company was only about $450 million. In 2011, it was purchased by a private equity firm out of New York. And they fought with Warren Buffett's company and another company. So there was 3 of them, fighting to acquire it, because they all saw the vision that this company was going to become bigger and bigger. And it was basically an emerging market. And let's fast forward today. In less than 5 years, that company called MidOcean Partners actually, let me back up for a second. They ended up paying $200 million more for what the company was worth on the New York Stock Exchange. So just to give you an idea of how good the company was doing back then, Microsoft stock was the 17th best stock in the country at that time to purchase, to really, the odds were in your favor. Legalshield at that time was 13th. They were even a better investment than Microsoft. So to give you an idea, that company, this is what these big private equity firms saw, and they said, we want that. So they ended up stroking a check for $200 million more, for a total of $651 million to privatize the company. Because here's what they know: a private company can grow much faster than a public company. And they did it. They got the deal. They beat out Warren Buffett. They beat out the other company. And then, of course, like we like to say, the proof is in the pudding. In less than 5 years, 100% of that investment was zeroed out. So imagine having a cash cow from that point forward. And that's exactly what's happened. Well, in 2019, a bigger fish called, Stone Point Capital, they saw what was happening. They had much deeper pockets, and they said, we want to buy this company. We want to acquire it. But Mid-Ocean Partners said, no, this is our cash cow. We're not selling, but we'll make you a partner for $1 billion. And sure enough, Stone Point Capital signed off and did it right away. Fast forward 2 years later, we're now a $3 billion company. So I say all that to say that whatever time and energy you put into this company is going to be well worth it, because we have exploded in the last 2 years. 2 of the worst years our country has had in the pandemic as far as business goes. I mean, a lot of businesses didn't make it, but yet Legalshield has had 2 of its best years in 50 years. So I like to say that's an inflation-proof type business, because when things are good, Legalshield is very good to help people. When things are bad, people need us even more. So that's why Armando and I are so excited to really see what the potential of this company is going. And we haven't even scratched the scratch, because we're just going up and to the right. Because many of us, we realize that, number one, identity theft's not going away anytime soon. And people are sick and tired of being taken advantage of, signing contracts that they don't even know what they're signing. But let's face it, most people don't want to spend $300 or $400 an hour to have an attorney review contract. So they don't. But yet we give them the ability to have unlimited contracts and documents reviewed. So the point I'm saying is that you are bringing a tremendous value to your clients. Many of your clients don't even have a will. They don't have a living will. They don't have their health directives or a durable power of attorney. Well, there's a good reason for that. The majority of them would have to spend $1,000 to $1,500 to get that done for them and their spouse, and that's conservative. So imagine you being able to offer them something that literally for a couple bucks they can have, and a couple bucks a day. Our program, depending on whether you're doing an individual, is about 65 bucks, including the two programs. If we're talking about the business to business, there's a significant discount. And now we're talking, about the, anywhere between 35 and 45 bucks. So it's nice because it's definitely affordable for anybody in the country. So that's one of the nice things that Armando and I are looking at. So really, Armando's looking to put together a great team, and I'll be part of your support mentoring team on the business to business side. And it really doesn't matter where you're at, because I've actually done Zoom closings. I did a company up in Pennsylvania, and it was one of those 50-50 splits. A business consultant here in Orlando had a client up in Allentown, Pennsylvania, and I did the Zoom presentation for the owner. He loved what he saw so much. He says, I want to fringe this for my employees. And then, of course, I did a presentation to the employees. So it really comes down to, number one, what you guys want to accomplish and how much you want to make with this company, because the bonuses are incredible. That's just the one thing. The company has put out bonuses for opening up groups in the United States, almost 100 grand in just bonuses for that for 2022. And on top of that, the incentives and the bonuses, we have trips. I'm going to Maui, Hawaii in July because a trip that I earned just because I'm out there making things happen. And the company says everybody's invited. All you have to do is this, this, and this. When I was in pharmaceuticals, they only took like the top 20 of us in the whole nation to these like exotic trips. Legalshield normally takes about 400 to 500 of us and a spouse, so it's crazy. But that's what's nice. The company has very deep pockets and they want to grow like crazy. So I just wanted to share that, Armando, and anybody that if you got questions, if we have an opportunity for that, Armando, I'm available.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. I did want a clarification, if you can, please. What are the differences between small business groups and like trucking companies? If you can, like, when we're on the field, what are we looking for? What are the differences there?
Okay, so and think of it in different perspectives. When we go into a trucking company, there's a lot of choices that we have. Number one, the trucking company is in fact a business, first of all. So we can go into that trucking company and we can show the business owner how he can protect his business. That's what the small business membership does. In the past, it used to be you had to have 100 employees or less, but now everything's changed. It doesn't matter the size of the company, they're eligible to protect the business. So the small business plan is to protect the federal tax ID number, if you can think of it that way. The other thing is we want to protect the back door of the business, so we make sure that they get the personal plan. Now, on top of that, the business owners that are trucking companies, they also have trucks and they also have truck drivers. So now we can also, on top of protecting their business, we can now protect their CDL, their commercial driver's license, for all their truckers. And we have a special program to help them protect the trucks. So now you've got the ability to help truckers, you've got the ability to help the business owner, and we can establish a group so that they can get the group pricing on 3 things, not just 2. The legal plan, identity theft, because obviously they're at high risk being on the road. But the third thing is on the commercial driver's plan, the legal plan, because they are going to do anything and everything they can. These truckers pay hundreds and hundreds of dollars to have an attorney go to court and get the points off their license, because they do not want that. They don't want to take the risk. So that's the big difference between a regular company that doesn't have truckers, and we can set up and establish a group. But the small business plan is to protect the entity, the federal tax ID number, and the group is to set up an employee benefit for the company. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. And then does the group have to be tied to like a particular just one company, or can it be like a Kiwanis club or something like that?
Well, actually, it's a good question you bring up, because it's literally a group is designed when they actually have the ability to have a client or an employee owner relationship. But that's not to say we can set up, like, for example, I did the entire Georgia Dental Association. So that's not a business, but that was an association. And the way I finally, met with the board of directors, I spun it as a, because see, here's the thing, associations are always looking for non-dues revenue. Think about that for a second. When dues start shrinking, they can do less and less. But if we showed them, hey, we can get you a finder's fee for every associate member that gets this membership, and boom, they now participated, and it comes out of, your cut of the commissions. But think about that, a company promoting you to be able to activate and protect their associate members. So that's another way that we can set up those types of individuals. So those types of things. Make sense?
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
it's a little bit different than a group, but it's still doable. And then think about this. We can also do the same exact thing with real estate brokerages. We've done quite a few of those here in Orlando, where the owner of the brokerage, he says, man, I love this, but you can come in and speak to all my 1099 real estate agents and set this up. And we can set that up also, even though they're quote unquote not W-2 employees. We can set that up that way for real estate companies, real estate brokerages.
Excellent, excellent. So I wanted to bring over a point here. I'm going to open it up in a few minutes for questions from the field, but I wanted to just kind of share with you guys what I'm excited about here. Number one, we come from forever and ever that Powerhouse has been a powerhouse, right? We come from an environment where we have people who are field trainers, right? Who become experts in the field. This is the first time that we walk into a business opportunity, that we walk into a partnership as vis-a-vis, which is Legalshield, and we have a field trainer, not one of us, but somebody who has 15 years of experience doing it, right? So that's a huge opportunity to really lean on him. And so Kevin brings two things to the table. I'm going to say Mr. Torres, right? But I don't want to confuse anybody because we're both Torres, right? But the Colonel, we're going to call him the Colonel, right? So the Colonel brings two aspects of it. Number one, he's a field trainer, so he can take you from zero to hero, right? Show you the ropes, go on appointments with you, close business. Obviously we're going to split those deals just like we do in the life side. When you go with a field trainer, you split the deal. So we're used to that in our environment. But one of the good things about it is, like he was saying, and I just want to reiterate, I know that you guys caught it, but there's a $500 bonus when you open your first account with a $150 premium minimum. Folks, that's in addition to your money that you're going to get as commissions, right? And in addition to actually learning the business, there's an incentive of $500 bonus that goes paid to you, right, for opening your first account. Okay, so I want to share that with you guys because that's pretty exciting to me. And then the flip side of it is, in the future, as we build this out, and I know some of you guys are busy, some of you guys have day jobs in other markets and stuff like that. He's available to split deals with you guys, like you said, just do an introduction, and he's able to take it from A to Z, close it out, and you pick up a check along the way. So those two things were really exciting, and one of the reasons why I'm really excited to partner with you, Colonel. Make sure that you're on the board. You had something with that, sir?
Yeah, and I wanted to add to that, for those of you that are doing individual sales, the beautiful thing, we have a program that has been going on for 20 years. And the wonderful thing is, think of it this way. If you just focused on a minimum of helping activate and protect 4 families a month, and you stay focused on that, that's about $200 in premium that you're going to create. But on top of that, you guys are coming into a program that Legalshield has established. It's called the Insurance Broker/Agent Program. And I call it, we start you at the adult money. And the beautiful thing is, you come in 5 levels higher than the average person off the street. So essentially, what does that mean? It means that it's about around $200 per client. So even if you're just doing individuals, or you're doing a company and you end up getting 10 deals, there's $2,000. But the nice thing about it, we have something called Performance Club, and it's a wonderful program. I've been doing it since the very first month I got started with the company. And here's the thing, that one bonus has paid me over $80,000 in just that one. So what are we saying? That in 2 years, in 24 months, the company will start paying you $6,000 a year extra for just doing what you were going to do, doing those $200 premiums. So even though you're doing that tiny bit of work, Legalshield loves consistent, persistent effort. So that's one of the beautiful things the company has done for you. But on top of that, you do a bit more than that. Now you're eligible for all expense paid trips. I mean, just think of trips. We've gone to trips like Maui, Mexico, Punta Cana, Jamaica, all these places. So it's like having a free vacation every single year. And I say, anywhere between $4,000 and $5,000, they're going to invest just for doing the things that you can very easily do. Even if you guys are doing this spare time, part-time, we have a lot of agents that are actually full-time jobs, but they do insurance part-time, and they are able to do things like this. Performance Club Pro is what we call them. So there's, on top of that, there's other bonuses for those of you that really seriously want to get into the B2B market and you really want to grow in that market. There's other bonus programs that they have for that, and it's cumulative. As you grow, they keep increasing. And for 2022, you max out all the levels, that's 100,000 right there on that side of the house. So the money's there for whatever level you want to do. Back to you, sir.
No, $100,000 bonus. Yeah, so I'm going to put that on the Telegram for you guys. There is a bonus of up to $100,000 for building this B2B side of the house. Excellent. So I'm going to open it up to the field to see if there's any questions here. I'm pretty sure that we have a lot of intelligent people, Colonel. So get ready for these questions. I'm glad I brought somebody to higher pay grade than myself, because there's going to be some good questions here. So anybody in the field have any questions, you can feel free to unmute yourself and jump out and ask these questions.
Hey, Kevin, Andres here. Thanks so much for the presentation again. You mentioned trucking, real estate. Could you have another 2 or 3 top industries that are really, really good candidates for the Legalshield services for the B2B, please?
Yes. One of the hottest markets is, if you can think of blue collar type businesses that are in manufacturing, that have stable employees, that's the market you want to focus on. I would shy away from getting into restaurants or casinos or bars, fast food industries. The issue is, see, we don't want chargebacks. So if you focus on stability, then you have persistency. Here's the wonderful thing. After almost 15 years, my persistency has maintained at 80% and above. That's huge in the insurance world per se, right? So we focus on that. Why? Because that's your pension. That's what Legalshield will pay you for 20 years on that client, and just imagine building your book of business on top of that. So the key is, anywhere that you can think of, look for the low-hanging fruit first. In other words, hey, who do I know that can lead me to the decision maker? Is it a friend? Is it an uncle? Is it a contact, a connection? I mean, you follow your dollar. You'd be amazed what can happen in that arena. Now, to say, like, say you have a best friend or an uncle that has a restaurant, and it's a shoo-in, man. You can get him in and he loves what we see. You can still do that one, but then don't take that with advanced commissions. You take that as earned. So then it doesn't impact you, with your persistency, because then you get paid when the company gets paid. And then that avoids that completely. So a lot of insurance agents have the choice. I've always taken it advanced because what I did with the company is, I said, from the very first year I was with the company, I said, I want you to put 15 cents out of every dollar into what we call an account. So in case there's ever chargebacks or things like that, they pull it right out of there. Now that money stays there, because here's the other unique thing about Legalshield. Number one, you guys are vested day one. Your book of business is yours day one. And here's the second thing. You literally can pass on that book of business to your kids and your kids' kids. So it's transferable. That's huge. Very, very few insurance companies will pay you your book of business beyond yourself. A lot of times is what I'm told. So to me, I saw that as a huge, huge benefit. But here's the other thing too. Think about this way, for some of you that are doing health insurance and stuff like that. Think about how you can talk to that owner and say, hey, the whole ideal here is for you to have healthy employees, which helps us keep your premiums low. Because what happens every year, unfortunately, in the health insurance industry, the premiums always have to go up, and you always have to tell the business owner bad news. Man, the premiums went up again. But what if we could keep those premiums down by having less stressed employees that are more productive and not tapping into all the health insurance because they're sick and stressed out? That's another great benefit that we can utilize. And we can show just by allowing us to come in and actually offer this as a voluntary benefit, you're helping yourself. And on top of that, we have a program called Member Perks, which right now is becoming more and more mainstream. Companies are looking for discount programs to offer to their employees, because anything they can offer to their employees makes their employees stickier. In other words, it makes their employee benefits more robust and expands it. But think about this. Our actuaries are telling us right now that the average client is saving anywhere from $49 to $80 a month by utilizing Member Perks. And it's a 450 companies online that we all know. I had a buddy of mine that wanted to get a Dell laptop at Best Buy. Well, I said, hey, check it out. Go to Best Buy, see what you want. But he comes back home, writes down the model number, gets the exact same laptop for $200 less from Best Buy, which is one of our vendors. It was one of our vendors. I love to go to the movies with my wife. It's a discount in that program. AMC, Cinemark, Regal, all those 35% off movie tickets. And you guys know that have families, you got to take a little mortgage to go to the movies, because you got to have popcorn and stuff. It's crazy, but 35% is 35%. Some of them are smaller. For those of you that make lots of copies, for example, Office Depot, amazing. I make my copies for 9 cents, black and whites. The colors are a little more. I think they're like 35 cents or something like that. But it's like 50% off the bill. So when I was making copies, a lot, I was spending $200 in copies, but it would cost me $400 if I didn't have this discount. So it was amazing, just that alone. So think of those industries that make lots of copies. How cool would that be for them to have that type of discount? So the key to answer your question, Andres, it's number one, who's your low-hanging fruit? And number two, stick with companies that are stable, that have stability in their employee numbers, so that now you have the ability to have a nice book of business with persistency. Make sense?
That's awesome. So by the way, everybody here on this call that you're a member of Legalshield, you have Member Perks already. And we're going to be training on some of the benefits that we have. We're going to be doing that in the next couple of weeks here. But Member Perks is back there. Save money on travels. We just saved some money on the travel that we did to OKC. So absolutely check it out. I'm going to kick it over to the great state of Florida, South Florida, great state of South Florida. That's a different country down there. Brother, Mr. Daniel Bach, who has a lot of B2B experience, and I think he's going to crush it in this space. Mr. Danny Bach, your call, sir.
Hi, how you guys doing today? Well, I joined in a little late, about 15 minutes after, so I didn't get to see or heard what it was before. But the question was regarding the Kevin Torres, right? Mentioned that they signed up the dental association and given perks or a cut of the commission to the association for every member that signed up. Correct?
Correct. We call it a finder's fee.
Okay, a finder's fee. Okay. Have you that being a non-profit organization, correct?
Actually, I believe it was a nonprofit because they were set up as an association. You are correct.
Okay, I have a lot of clients that are in the nonprofit space. Most of them are churches, right? Is there a specific program for them to sign up and be able to get that finder's fee, or is that something that's a handshake between them and I?
No, they're we can set up the entities. It's just getting the paperwork done. for them. And in fact, we can actually set up a group for the church employees because, there's a lot of people don't realize that the church, it can be at high risk too, from the standpoint that employees are working in the preschool, they're doing different things. So that could be a group in itself for the employees of the church. But we can also
members.
look at finder's fee for nonprofit organizations, because that could be a finder's fee, almost like setting up an association, non-dues revenue from that standpoint. I mean, Catholic churches do it with bingos and different things. Why not have something else for them?
Well, in this case, they're not Catholic. It's very difficult to get into the Catholic churches to do business with. But I do have relationship directly with the pastors of Christian, Baptist, Pentecostal, blah blah blah, and all the other denominations in the book, because I deal directly with the decision maker, which is the pastor of the owner of that church.
Excellent.
So
yeah,
okay.
there's possibilities there, and and we can definitely explore that, and I can certainly do a road trip down there and help you with that.
Okay, I'll have to see how I set it up, because I already offer a certain amount of services for them, everything in the energy space. I'll have to see through somebody else that works with me to be able to go there.
Okay.
I got my answer. We can go into details later on. Okay,
Yes.
Armando. Thank you, Kevin.
You betcha.
We have Maribel Amanique, I believe, had her hand up.
There you are. I like the bunny in the background.
I'm the bunny, because I'm in the dark now. But you answered my question. That's why I unraised my hand. But thank you.
Oh, okay. What was your question?
It was regarding to the churches. The other gentleman, the previous one to me, I didn't catch his name, but he asked the same questions that I had. And I also, with the businesses, I had a question pertaining to that when you open the business aspect of it, would you be doing also individual, or it's just a whole? Okay, so it's a combination of both. Do they fall under the business umbrella, or is it like two different entities?
Well, Maribel, when you say individual, what are you saying? People that work inside the company?
Within the business, yes.
Okay, so people that work within the company, that are employees of the company, they would be eligible to actually get the services. Now, here's the wonderful thing. Usually we can set it up with the company where they can either pay through payroll, or they can actually pay out of their own checking account. We call that bank draft. And the benefit of that, of course, is that if they leave the company, they never have to do anything, because it's automatically already taken out of the checking account. But here's the other wonderful thing about this service. This service is portable. And so if an employee quits that company, it's a very simple thing where they just have to call Legalshield and say, hey, I'm no longer working with that company, but I want to keep my membership. So they switch them to bank draft. And here's the best part. Legalshield has never, ever raised their premiums in the 50-year history. So once you get that premium locked in, it's there for life. Now, if you ever want to upgrade, because the company keeps offering more expanded type products, you could always upgrade to the newer stuff. But your actual premiums and the plan that you originally had, you could literally stay with that forever if you're happy with that. So that's a nice option from that standpoint. But you're exactly right. A lot of times those employees have brothers and sisters and uncles, and they're outside the company that they give you referrals, and they say, oh, you got to go talk to my sister. Now, obviously they'll have a different price, because remember, the employee benefit pricing is significantly lower. So, I would say the average family will save about $15 a month to establish a group. Now, here's the wonderful thing. We can establish a group with as little as $150 premium. So, company could be tiny, literally four employees and we're there type deal. Does that help, Maribel?
Yes, thank you. I appreciate it. Thanks,
You're
Kevin.
welcome. Yes.
Awesome. I do see a lot of you guys that are in the real estate side. I'm looking at you, Mr. Nate Jones, Dale Henthorn, John Henthorn. You guys that have real estate companies, let's get these brokers at the state level for you, Nate, and I guess probably even at the EXP level, right? It's up to you, just as big as you want to, and obviously you got the Colonel that goes with you and can help you close that deal out.
Armando, hang on a second. For Nate, if you're in the real estate arena, one of the nice things that I've seen done, real estate owners, real estate agents that, let's say they sell a 300,000 plus home. Most real estate agents want to give a gift to their clients and stuff, and they usually invest about $300-400 for that gift. Most of the time is some type of home warranty. But think about this for a second. For $300, you could pay for the first year of their Legalshield plan, for example, just a Legalshield plan. And now that will include, so they can get their will updated, they can get their living will done, they can get their health directives done, and a durable financial power of attorney. That's a $1,500 value that you just gave them for your investment of $300. So a much, much bigger value than a home warranty, for example, from that standpoint. So that's something I've seen brokerages do, home real estate brokerages do for their clients. So that's just a thought, from that standpoint.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Colonel, can you talk to us a few seconds about how to become a certified field trader? Because I know some of the teammates definitely want to go that route, and they like that part of the show. We call them RVPs on our side,
Yes.
regional vice presidents. So one of the things that RVPs do is just they field train their team. Can you walk us down that journey, or what does that look like to become a certified field trainer with Legalshield?
Yeah, and essentially doing the certified field trainer, they have requirements. I don't have those quite in front of me right now, but I believe that once you've opened up, I think it's like 50 groups, or something to that effect. Now you've developed enough experience, and then you're going through the field, national field trainers training, basically to make sure that you have everything checked off. So that's usually, in the past, what it's been. So it's something that for those individuals that are in that space, that business to business space, you very easily, can get set up in your groups over time. And now you can start being a national field trainer and actually, take advantage of all those perks.
Awesome.
So it's definitely something that we can get the exact details and have them, because it's definitely something to strive for to do, because the company is always looking for more national field trainers, because obviously this company is growing like crazy, especially in the B2B arena. I mean, think about that. We've now have 147,000 businesses that have this as an employee benefit, that have it on payroll deductions. But that's a drop in a bucket, because we all know there's millions of companies out there in the United States. So it's a good start, but man, it's wide open for all of us.
Excellent. Excellent. So I wanted to change gears real quick and just kind of share with you guys some of the resources that we have. Number one resource, guys, is the Colonel, right? He's going to be with us, lockstep with us, ready to rock and roll, field train us, get us any resource that we need to make it happen. There are some certifications that are happening, and for the month of April, they're free, right? There's usually a $49 charge, for $50, $60 charge, but they've announced that it's free for the month of April. First one starting this Friday, and by the way, you can go to legalshieldcalendar.com to get to this part, and then in the event category, just drop down to business solutions training, and then business solutions opportunity. right? Those are the two areas that we're going to concentrate on for this particular part of the show. The good thing is, excuse me, let me go back to the training part, because I'm talking about individually, you getting personally certified, with this employee benefit certification. That's this Friday coming up. Next week is level 1. Next Friday, level 1 certification. That's going to be your basic course, right? Boot camp, as we call it, right? AIT would be this weekend. There's also going to be a business solutions expo next week. And guys that are looking at the screen right now, this is in Eastern Standard Time. When you go to your calendar and the computer figures out what time zone you're in, it'll adjust to your time zone, right? So if you're in the Central or Mountain Time or whatever, this is what you're looking at the screen right now is Eastern Time Zone for the month of April. So we got business certification this Friday. Next week on Wednesday, you have the Solutions Expo, which they're going to go through all the core stuff of kind of what we did tonight, but more in detail at the corporate level. Everybody should register for the 22nd. If you're on this call and you have interest in business solutions, again, that is your basic core boot camp of business solutions, right? Which will be next Friday. The commercial
Armando, could I interject here for a second? Because it's very important for those of you that really have an interest of getting this thing going. It takes about 4 or 5 days to get you appointed. And the process is pretty simple. It's as an application. It doesn't cost you a penny to come on board as a broker agent. The only requirement the company does have to keep you vested is that you have to protect your own family and never ever let that membership lapse. And then you're vested and protect your book of business. Now, I would recommend getting that done as fast as possible, because then this way it's much easier for you to get into all this stuff here, because you'll have your own website in here. Now, regardless of whether you want to do B2B or not, I highly recommend these because it'll help you with individual sales, because they go into some details on the power of the membership, and you'll have a much better understanding of it. And this month, of course, you're not paying a penny more for this training, but here's the best part. The people that are giving you these trainings, I personally know them. They're making $300,000 to $400,000 a year with Legalshield in the B2B sector. So they're not teaching you theory. They're teaching you exactly the things they're doing out in the field, which I find priceless, from that standpoint. And for the individuals that want to really, maybe they think that the commercial drivers is a niche market for them, on the 23rd, there's going to be a special training and certification for that sector. And it's the only one for the whole month of April, is on the 23rd. So back to you, sir.
No, absolutely. Thank you. Can you hear me? I just want to make sure.
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Gotcha.
So this is the training schedule, right? For the month of April. And so guys, by the end of the month, you can all get certified up and ready to rock and roll. In addition to that, here's for the rest of you. And by the way, Colonel, we all came in on the network side because we're all builders here. We understand that we are going to bring in brokers, and that is a different process. But we're all builders here. So I wanted to kind of share this. So tomorrow, tomorrow's the 14th. Yeah, tomorrow's the 14th at 3 p.m. And again, go into your Legalshield calendar and pull this and work off of this, right? Tomorrow at 3 p.m., anybody who you have interested in the opportunity, that's going to be done at the corporate level at 3 p.m. to 3:30, 30-minute business presentation in the middle of the day. And it's going to share with your prospects, kind of like a business opportunity meeting. That's going to be happening tomorrow. And it'll happen several times throughout the month, right? Solutions recruiting overview. There's also a prospecting blitz that they do, which is like they get together, like just kind of we do smile and dial on the phones on Saturdays for those of you guys who do mortgage protection and final expense. That's kind of like the same thing. They get on the phone and do that. And then there's different small business trainings happening in different places. And I don't know why this is different here. Small business training, smile and dial. Colonel, what's the difference between this?
This one here is basically they've started a new segment now where people that want to call small businesses, it's kind of like, hey, let's dial for dollars. Let's dial for dollars together. And then they do a little recap. So every Tuesday, they do it for group employee benefits, and they usually do the prospecting blitz. As you can see on the 12th to 19th, that goes from 10:45 to 1. And then from 1 to 2, they literally have an incredible 1-hour training on employee benefit training from an expert. And every week is a different topic. So it's not the same. It continuously rotates. So for those of you that really want to get little bites and pieces of this training, I highly recommend 1 p.m. Eastern time every Tuesday, because you're going to learn a lot from the best in the market.
That's awesome. So these are the resources that we have, in addition to, like we always talk about, getting in the field and just setting the appointments and just going out with a field trainer, you know, to get out there and going. I did want to wrap up with the whole opportunity, because it's sometimes, you know, today I wrote in our Facebook page, the Noah, when he was building the ark, he didn't stop to answer the questions of the haters and to answer all the questions, right? And I know that for you guys, Powerhouse as an opportunity is a huge opportunity. It's a powerhouse opportunity, right? And it is overwhelming in some stages, right? You're like, you know, holy crap, what do I do first, right? Do I sell Legalshield? Do I sell a term policy? Do I sell a retirement solution? And the answer is yes, right? The answer is yes. We built this for you guys to go out there and have the maximum amount of dollars possible to, first of all, help the families and help each individual future widow and orphan, right? Because that's what we do. We're on a mission, we're on a crusade to make sure the future widows and orphans are taken care of, right? And then they're going to need all the products, the full house. They're going to need the term life insurance. They're going to need the roof of the house, which is the Legalshield, right? They're going to need the retirement program, right? Because if not, they end up at Walmart, right? I just had a conversation this afternoon with a client of mine who's on, who's a mutual fund client of mine on my investment side, right? And she's asking me, you know, should I move my money to IULs? The answer is absolutely, especially in this market condition, right? We want to put a floor on your retirement. So what we're doing here, guys, is really a holistic approach, and it is overwhelming. It's going to take us a few weeks, few months, maybe to get it all together, to get a good grasp on everything. But I know that we're fighting the good fight. I know that at the end of the day, you know, what we brought together with the partnerships that we brought together, including Legalshield, is going to be of a high benefit to you and to your clients, okay, individually and collectively. So without further ado, having said that, I do want to make sure that you guys follow the Legalshield calendar, get certified on that side, okay? On the life side, we did a whole month. We did February, the whole month of February, talking about IULs and annuities and stuff like that. We will revisit that as well moving forward. But let's just get into the businesses. If you feel that you need to bring in partners, you got a whole support team. Okay, you got the Colonel coming in with the Legalshield side. There's RVPs on this call here who are very versed in the retirement solution side. And everybody, at the end of the day, you got Valerie and you got me, mostly Valerie. She's a lot smarter than I am, but you guys got Valerie to really help you close out any retirement solution, like the whole gamut. Like there should be, and I say this, I want to emphasize this because I understand that at this point, there's a little bit of analysis paralysis, right? We got the smartest people on this call tonight here, right? So there's a lot of analysis paralysis, like where do I go? Where do I start? And where you go and where you start is two things. Number one, you get in the field, you make calls, you start calling everybody that you know who has a small business, who has some kind of business, who knows people who are commercial drivers. You get in the field and you lead from the front. That's number one. Okay, understand that you have an incredible support staff behind you. And the Colonel will go in and close it. Valerie will go in and close it, and you could see how it's done. And you're a trainee on the sale, and you make it happen. Or any one of the RVPs that are on the call, right? So don't stop. Get it. I needed to say that. Right? Don't stop. This is the time where it's time to put pedal to the metal. Even though we were in OKC, the majority of us were in OKC last week. Powerhouse did 55,000 in sales last week, which is not to be laughed at, right? That's nothing to be small. No, that's no small number, right? And in addition to that, we were there. We took every single cash dollar that was given by Legalshield. We picked it up on the table. There are teams. We had placed 2 teams. Colonel, we placed 2 teams in the top 15 in the company, right? Which was phenomenal, which I'm excited about because we're relevant in the room, right? And each one of you guys have an opportunity here to build something big. So number 1, you go out, lead from the front. Number 2, and I want to always keep the main thing, the main team, right? Vince Lombardi said, this is a football. Folks, we are in the process of building something so that each one of you guys has financial independence and you walk away richer than you can ever imagine with financial freedom. And the only way to do that, I want to be clear, 100. I want to close this call and be 100% clear. The only way to do that is to build a team. You go out there and you could be the best daggone writer in Legalshield. You could be the best daggone annuities writer, IUL writer. I don't care. If you do that, go for it. You're gonna make a lot of money. But if you don't help other people get free, if you don't teach a team, if you don't build a team, you're gonna be doing that for the next 10, 20, 30 years. I promise you that. So number 2 is continue to build. It is a 2-oar canoe, right? You gotta row with both arms and you're gonna get tired, and that's why we're here. But you got to go and build it hard. You got to go build it big.
Yeah, and Armando, you are so right because I've seen that, and Mr. Crothers is a perfect example of that. He's done very little in the B2B arena, but he has the largest B2B team because he always says, "Hey, what's your passion? Where do you want to go? Team building or B2B?" And then he helps him, points him in that direction. But here's a gentleman that has made $23+ million doing that. So, and I can tell you this, my 90% of my income comes because I made the decision to build a team nationwide, but I also am a full service agent. So I just do 10%, but I actually enjoy the fact that I've helped people to get to 6 figures on my team. And because they were passionate enough to follow their goals, I just was a coach. I just coached them to lead the way, but they had to make the decision to do that. So I always say, and I'll leave you with these 3 things so you can keep your ears and eyes open. Be on the lookout for people who are ambitious and love helping people. They're coachable and they have a good work ethic. If you can do those 3 things, I can guarantee you that here in Legalshield, I've seen it in the last 15 years, the sky is the limit. With those 3 basic ingredients, it is powerful, amazing. And you guys are so lucky to have a team leader like Armando. He's really passionate about what he does, and the proof is in the pudding. He walked the stage at the convention, and that was your very first convention, right, Armando?
Yes, sir.
His very first one, and he walked out there with thousands, and the point is, he didn't just sit there and watch, he got into action, because action is what makes all the difference. And I've seen that in everything I've done. I saw it in the military. I saw it in my pharmaceutical career. And here in Legalshield, it's no different, because guess what? We're all independent contractors, and it's up to us. So I thank you so much for letting me share, Armando, and I look forward to helping all of you, and we're here to serve.
Thank you, sir. Thank you,
Take
sir.
care,
All right,
you guys.
Get on LegalShieldCalendar.com. Get registered for all the stuff. Let's rock and roll. Let's go set appointments. Let's go make money. Build it big. Love you guys. Have a good night.